In this video, I'm going to go over the names for all of the pieces in the game of chess and give you the correct names. It's important to know that depending on, especially digital pieces, depending on the artist or the software, pieces can look a little bit different. So the main idea and the main shape and meaning of pieces is going to be quite important for you so that you can understand which pieces are which. And I want to show you some digital versions, and then I'm also going to show you some photographs of some real chess pieces, so you can kind of get used to that. But first of all, the key is the pawns. Okay, the pawns are typically one of the shortest pieces on the board. They are the ones that are the big line in the front, a whole line of them. There's 8 pawns. They're just the simple round ones, but they are very important pieces. Don't get me wrong on that. Those are pawns, so make sure you understand those are pawns. Then we have these pieces here that those are called rooks. The correct word is rooks. I know that people call them castles or turrets, but hey, they are called rooks in the game of chess. But yes, they do look like castles or turrets, but the appropriate name is they are rooks. Then we have these taller, pointy, sharper tip top, but these are bishops. These are actually this picture right here makes him look like a bishop's hat, which is what it really represents, the European influence here on the game. But these are bishops. Then we move on, and we move on to the knights. These are called the knights, and that is the correct name. I know I play with kids, and I play against friends, and we goof around and stuff, and people don't know what they're called, and they call them horses, ponies, horsies, whatever. But these are knights. The correct word's knights. That's what we should be using. They are knights. Now, the other two pieces, sometimes people get confused, especially when they begin. One is the king and one is the queen. The queen is wearing the crown, if you will. These are the queens. The queen, of course, is what people usually say is the most powerful piece in the game of chess. And the other ones are the kings. And the kings typically have a cross on them. And that's kind of how you can tell that they signify the king. They usually have some sort of emblem on the top of the piece. And so those are the names of the pieces. But what I want to do, you can kind of see a menu pop up on my screen here, but what I want to do is show you that there's different variations, but depending on who drew the pictures or what the artist felt like, that things can look slightly different. So I've changed the pieces here. They're still all the same pieces, but I know the artistry is quite different. And you still have the pawns sitting here, and you still have the rooks here, and these kind of actually look even more like little castle turrets. You have bishops here, which are still the same shape, but different artistry. You still have knights, which look like horses, so these are the knights. The queen typically has this, I think it was like a mini-tipped crown on the top here. And then the king has more of a rounded top, and then you can see there's like an X on the top on this one, signifying there that little X or the cross on the top. And so again, it's all about artistry. I'll show you one more digital version, and that would be this one here, which again, now once you play a lot of chess, you can identify these pieces very quickly. But we still have the pawns, the rooks, the bishops, the knights, the queens, and the kings. And now that you've seen the digital versions, I do want to show you a couple of other styles of pieces. And so I'm going to bring this into play. These are tournament plastic pieces. I would tell you that when you play in a chess tournament, you're going to see tons of pieces that look like this. And so these are in kind of a reverse order in a way, but the king here first, and you can see that because there's that X, the crown, the cross at the top. There's the king. Here's the queen. Of course, the king and the queen typically are the two tallest pieces. Here's the bishop. The bishop is always kind of this pointy hat shape. It oftentimes has this notch cut out of it. And then, of course, the one that looks like an animal, it looks like a horse. This is our knight. And then our rook and our pawns. And so that's a tournament plastic set, which is very popular. And actually, when people start to play chess and want to get their own chess sets, I usually recommend the cheaper plastic tournament sets. For beginners, they're not very expensive, and they're affordable, and they're easy to transport. Now, I want to show you another type, and that would be this type. And this is actually a really pretty fancy wooden set, and these are definitely more costly, but you can still signify which piece is which, and distinguish which one's which. Here we have the king with that cross-leg feature on the top, and here's the queen with the many pointed crown around the edge. There's our rounded tip with the notch cut out bishop. Here's our knight, and then we have our rook and our pawn. So make sure you use the correct terminology for pieces: king, queen, bishop, knight, rook, and pawn, and make sure that you can identify them, because that is very important too. Good luck as you learn the game of chess.